Hey guys, this is Yes back here today, and I wanted to give you guys a little miniature BM guide. I have questions in my Twitch chat, and people whisper me about BM, so I thought I'd give you guys a little guide on BM. Won't be as in depth as my survival guide, but just want to give you something to go back to, refer to if you have any questions, and I can't answer them. So first, I would like to start off by going with the races. The best race for Alliance is a Dark Iron Dwarf, and the best race for Horde is an Orc. So the reason why Dark Iron's the best, like we went over in the survival guide, the Fireblood racial that gives you 600 main stat on use on a 2-minute cooldown, and then gives you an extra 200 main stat for every dot effect you remove, is just an extremely strong on use effect, and it also gives you the 1% physical damage passive for Dark Iron Dwarfs. And then for Horde, obviously the best reason why Orc is the best is because it gives you the stun reduction of 20%, and then also gives you a 1% pet damage, and it gives you the nice on use of Blood Fury. So next we're going to go over the talents. This is the basic build you'll always be running. You'll run Killer Instinct, Chimera Shot, Natural Mending, a Murder of Crows, Post Haste, Stomp, and an Aspect of the Beast. Now I'll go in depth on every tier and why you pick what you pick, and why the other talents that may seem good on that tier aren't as good. So on the first tier, we have Killer Instinct, Animal Companion, and Dire Beast. So Dire Beast is not that great. It costs 25 focus, gives you only 5% haste, and the beast itself does not hit that hard. Therefore, it's not a really good talent. Now, you might think Animal Companion is a really good talent because it gives you an additional pet that just does everything your other pet does. But the problem with Animal Companion is that when you play Animal Companion, the damage of your main pet is reduced by 40%. So you're essentially losing 40% on your damage on your main pet to just get an extra pet that kill commands and auto attacks, which is not good because it doesn't even do the basic attack, claw, bite, or like it doesn't do the basic attacks. It only does auto attacks and kill commands. So Animal Companion, unless you have like triple pack alpha traits, is not good to run, and I don't recommend going for pack alpha anyway. So Killer Instinct by default is the best trait. It's a nice little execute for BM, which is really good because BM is all about damage, and making sure you do a lot of damage, especially during your execute phases, are really strong. So next year we have Scent the Blood, one with the pack, and Chimera Shot. I recommend Chimera. It's a nice little 5k hit that can do some cleave, which you should be wary of at the breaking CC. One the pack, not that great. It's not insane because you don't even get that. You can get like a decent amount of barb shot resets, but you don't need the benefit of this, and you don't really need the focus regen of Scent the Blood. And then the next year is Trailblazer, Natural Mending, Camouflage. For the most part, you're going to play Natural Mending because in a lot of the comps that you play as BM, getting a nice strong opener or starting from stealth isn't that important. If you're queuing double DPS2s or you're queuing like Rogue Hunter, then I recommend Camouflage, but for the most part as BM, I do recommend Natural Mending. So next year we have Venomous Bite, a Thrill of the Hunt, and a Murder of Crows. So straight off I'm going to say Venomous Bite is not really good. Your Barb Shot already reduces the cooldown of your Beast Wrath, so you don't need extra cooldown reduction. And the reason why Throw the Hunt isn't good, it looks decent. Getting extra critical strike to help reset your barb shot and do more damage seems nice. But the thing about the Throw of the Hunt trait, talent, the crit chance does not actually affect your pet. So only your player, your character is getting 3% crit, which ends up the 9% crit, and your pet does not get the 9% crit. So it starts losing to Murder Crows, which is affected by your mastery, which is increases all your damage done by your pets, and so Murder Crows counts as a pet. So becomes better. Next year we have Born to be Wild, Post Haste, and Binding Shot. Now I really recommend Post Haste because BM can't really kite that well, so Post Haste just helps it get out of the situations where it can't kite. Born to be Wild if you want the extra like cooldown reduction on your turtle to maybe try to squeeze out more in a game. And Binding Shot's only really useful against other BM hunters to root their pets because most healers want to spell their hunters' pets. So that's why I recommend that talent. So on the next year we have Stomp, Barrage, and Stampede. So for the most pure damage output, I recommend Stomp. It's just an extra like nice little 4k hit every time you hit Barb Shot. But the problem you run into with Stomp is that when you hit Barb Shot when the guy's stacked on top of your trap, it breaks the trap. So if you want to try to avoid breaking as many traps, like say you're playing threes and you don't want to be breaking your traps, you can just take Barrage and you can use Barrage outside of your trap goes. It's a decent amount of damage, but it's mainly to avoid the Stomp breaking your traps. But if you are queuing 2v2, I do recommend Stomp because it's just higher DPS output and you don't as twos as much. You don't really care about breaking your traps. And so the last tier we have Aspect of the Beast, Killer Cobra, and Spitting Cobra. I recommend Aspect of the Beast. It's a baseline damage increase. It's just nice. Killer Cobra, if you're looking for a really strong Beast to Wrath, is better for single target burst, but it only affects your Beast to Wrath. Where I feel like having the aspect of the Beast damage out during the entire game is more worth, since BF isn't all about goes. It needs to be constantly doing damage, so when it gets its goes, it's much more powerful. So next I want to go over the PvP talents. So for your trinket, if you're anything but a human, I recommend running a Glider's Medallion. If you are a human, I do recommend running Relentless, because the main strength of human was in Legion, was that when you ran Glider's Medallion, you had two trinkets pretty much back to back, since they only shared a 30-second cooldown. But in BFA, they've made every man for himself a 3-minute cooldown, and it puts your other trinket on a 90-second cooldown, vice versa. So with the regular trinket, puts your every man on a 90-second cooldown. So in typically these short, like 2-minute games, you're barely getting that second trinket. That's if you're trinketing the very first thing that hits you. So I just recommend Relentless, so you can try to save it for Turtle. And so the other honor talents, I recommend Roar Sacrifice and Wild Protector. I feel like our baselines for BM, the 10% damage reduction of Wild Protector is pretty good, especially against if you're going the melee in the other team. Your pets will always be on top of the melee's kill target, and Roar Sacrifice is just a nice little extra defensive cooldown to prevent crits. And then there's different choices with the last one. I played Dire Beast Basilisk for damage. It still does decent damage, but if you want more defensive talents, you can go like Spider Sting. If you want to try to kite melee, you can go High Explosive Trap, go Survival Tactics. There is one honor talent I'd like to mention. I wouldn't recommend it, but it can be good in certain situations, which is Interlope, which replaces Misdirect. It's a 45-second cooldown with a 40-yard range. The next hostile, it essentially puts a spell reflect on the target you cast it on, and redirects all the spells into your pet instead of onto the target. So it's like a grounding for, like, your pet becomes a grounding for 3 seconds. But the target has to be within 10 yards of your pet for the spells to actually be redirected. So it's not that great, because your pet has to be near you or near whatever target, and if it's like, say you're fighting a mage and your pet's on the mage but your melee is not, it's not great. So that's one to think about, but I mainly either recommend Dire Beast Basilisk, Spider Sting, High Explosive Trap, or Survival Tactics. You could also maybe run the Beast Within if you want to immune your fears, but there's not a lot of fears in the game since Warlocks aren't that strong. Saphir isn't a very prevalent CC, so that one's not as recommended. So next, I want to go over the traits you'll be running as BM. So the first trait I recommend is having at least one Primal Instincts, which is your Aspect of Wild, gives you extra mastery when you use it, and gives you charge of Barb Shot back. So the major reason why we want this trait is because of the mastery. So I have 3 of them right now. So mine gives me 901, 960, and 784. So right here you see I have 34% mastery. When I pop my Aspect the Eagle, it goes up to 105%. That is a 71% increase in mastery just from those 3 traits, which is huge. You essentially increase your pet's damage by 71%. You just do 70% more damage on a majority of your spells, which is humongous. And the other trait I recommend, if you don't have all these Primal Instincts, and if you don't really want to stack them, is the trait, let me pull it up, looking for the chest, is the trait Haze of Rage, which is when you Beast Your Wrath, for the first 8 seconds of Beast Your Wrath, you get extra agility, so on a 370 chest gives you 700. It's pretty good since you, for the most part, will have Beast Your Wrath, let's say, every 30 seconds, every 40 seconds. So the extra agility at the beginning of Beast Your Wrath makes it hit that much harder, gets more pressure. So the traits I recommend is, the perfect setup I would recommend is having 1 Primal Instincts and having 2 Haze of Rages. Other traits to note are Serrated Jaws, not that bad of a trait, can get the job done. Let me pull it up here. So Serrated Jaws, this kill command has a 40% chance to deal an additional 1.5k damage and give your pet 5 focus, which focus for pet is huge because your claw, your basic attack, which is your hardest hitting ability on your pet, costs focus. But when your pet has over 50 focus, when it casts the ability, it does 100% more damage, just like how Ferocious Spike works with Feral. So Serrated Jaws isn't that bad if you don't have access to Primal Instincts or Haze of Rage, but 1 Primal Instincts and 2 Haze of Rages are your perfect setup. But if you don't have the Haze of Rages, you can go 3 Primals, and if you don't have the Primals, you can go 3 Haze of Rages. There's a lot you can do with it. So next, I'm going to go over the stats, and the stat priority and the enchants you want as a BM Hunter. So in PvP, your best stats are Haste, then Mastery, then Verse, then Crit. The reason why I have Crit so low is because, yeah, critting your auto shots gives you Barb Shot resets, but crit damage is also kind of low as it is, and you don't really need to focus on keeping your barb shot stacks up or getting a reset your beast wrath as much. It'll happen naturally. So mastery in PvP is your best because it increases your pet damage. Haste is really good stat for BM, and then versatility is just a nice little stat. And so the enchant you want to use, your weapon enchant will be an incendiary ammunition, which is every time you auto attack, you have a chance to just do an extra hit, which it can do insane damage. It can go in a 1-minute game, can do 70k damage in one game. It has insane procs. It's really RNG'd how good it is, so it is kind of shitty like that, but I really recommend it. And the enchants I recommend are Mastery or Haste enchants. I'm currently using Haste enchants since I'm playing, since I play Survival as my main spec. But you can go either Haste or Mastery enchants. It's not too huge of a difference. Obviously, like I said before, if you can afford it, I recommend the 37 enchants. But if you don't want to spend that much more gold, the 27 ones do the job just right. So I want to go over a couple of really important macros for BM. So you know you have your basic attack Claw, which is a 3-second cooldown, and if on all use it uses it. But Blizzard has a delay on the Claw that, see, I'll go send my pet in, I'll show you. So we'll have my pet attack this. So it'll use its Claw on cooldown. It comes off cooldown, and you'll notice a slight, you see like about a half second to a second delay of Claw. So that's Blizzard's in-game delay on how the ability Claw works. So to counteract this, and I recommend in your kill command macro or your Cobra Shot macro, I recommend you have these 3 lines. You have slash cast smack, slash cast bite, and slash cast claw, which is all 3 basic attacks your pets can have. So when you're kill commanding or anything like that, it automatically will ignore the delay and instantly use the ability. So watch, we'll go in, we'll set my pet in. So we'll have it use its claw, and then right when it's coming off cooldown, I spam kill command, and it just instantly uses it without any delay or anything. It instantly starts doing its damage again. So it's a higher DPS increase. I recommend having that on your Cobra Shot and your kill command, even sometimes your Barb Shot as well. It's good to have. And that's pretty much the major macros for BM, just to get the little bit extra damage out. You also have the freezing trap macro, which is the slash at cursor is good, which I also do with my tar trap and knock trap. And then there's a focus counter shot macro, which is pretty easy. Let me pull it up here. Focus counter shot, just slash cast that focus counter shot. You don't need to stop casting it anymore since all interrupts now have a baseline stop casting in it. But yep, that's pretty much it. You can't really macro your cooldowns all into one, but I do recommend having your Beast Wrath have your on use, not for Dark Iron, but you want your Orc and your Troll racial in here, and you want your on use shrink in your Beast Wrath, or you can have it macroed into your Aspect of the Wild if you want that to be your major burst cooldown. So now let's go to the damage rotation real quick. So the major damage rotation for BM is keeping up your little frenzy stacks, which I have a weak aura right here. It's your pet's attack speed. So every time you barb shot, it gives your pet a 30% attack speed bonus, which stacks up to 3 times. So it goes from 30 to 60 to 90. So I recommend really trying to keep it up. You want to try to kill command and chimera shot up cooldown, keep the stacks up, and just pretty much try to really min-max your stacks. Don't worry about too much. Don't freak out. Don't hold globals trying to min-max it, but try to at least keep 1 or 2 stacks at all times. And so now let's go over the burst rotation. So the burst rotation for BM, these are going to be your opening globals. You're gonna Beast Wrath, you're gonna Crows, you're gonna Barb Shot, you're gonna Aspect of the Wild, you're gonna Barb Shot again, you're gonna Kill Command, Chimera, and then you can Barb Shot 1 more time to get those 3 stacks, and you just do your damage rotation, and you just keep up your stacks. So one major thing to know about the rotation is, when you are about to Beast Wrath, I recommend going in or starting your Beast Wrath with a Barb Shot. You want to at least have 1 stack of the frenzy going into Beast Wrath, so your pet's attacking 30% faster with that major damage cooldown, so it does more damage and it gets more attacks in, and just it kills people faster. So I recommend always having at least a stack of frenzy during your Beast Wrath. That is very important to keep up. So now I'm going to go over the top 2v2 comp and the top 3v3 comp for BM Hunter. For 2v2, your best healer is either an Art Restoration Druid or a Discipline Priest. I think Restoration Druid's a little bit better because the Restoration Druid can control the match more and help you get to that dampening where your damage stacks up more and more and more, and the lack of control you have doesn't matter as much. And Discipline Priest is also good because this just has a lot of damage, so you two can just do a shit ton of damage, play really aggressive, try to get your trap fears, and just do a lot of damage and kill these these burst windows and get them down fast. And for 3s, your top comps are either Warrior Hunter R Shaman or Feral Hunter Disc Priest. So I recommend Warrior Hunter more, KFC more, because Arms Warrior, Arms of Fury just does a lot of upfront damage. and then BM just brings it's pretty much just a really aggressive comp with really kind of like somewhat tanky classes that just do a shit ton of like burst damage. Um, so that's pretty much that. It's just it does a lot of burst damage, and I recommend R Shaman because R Shaman is the best for BM in threes. It helps keep it up a lot, and it also helps keep up Warrior. And then also Feral Hunter Disc works as well because obviously it's Survival Hunter's best comp, and it's just really good with the extra bleed damage that Feral has, the off healing it has, and the extra sense it has for traps to help land traps more, and also can help peel melee with roots and all that. That's just really good. So those are your top comps. And one last thing I want to cover are pets. So pretty much, if you don't have a moral strike, say if you're playing with a feral, a rat, a demon hunter, or something like that, I recommend either a hyena, a raptor, or a rodent, which is pretty much a porcupine, or the little rodents you see in Argus. And then pretty much, if you do not have a moral strike, if you already have the moral strike in your team, say you came with an arms warrior and assassination rogue, I recommend the Spirit Beast. The Spirit Beast is extremely strong with the 3-minute cooldown Survival of the Fittest, which is a 20% damage reduction, with the Purge of Spirit Shock, and then the heal of Spiritman. The Spiritman heal is an insanely good heal. Heals for 12k instantly, which can also crit, and then heals for an additional 8k over the 10 seconds, and each one of those ticks can crit, so it's just a really good heal. We'll show you right here. 16k Spiritman right there. Tick is 10k. Is ridiculously good heal. I really recommend this if you have a Moral Strike pet. And in twos, I do recommend the Moral Strike pet because Moral Strike pet in twos is extremely good, and the heal of Spirit Beast gets reduced in twos as well because of dampening. So that's going to be it, guys. I just want to give you guys a quick little Beast Mastery guide since I do get questions on it, and some people are kind of hesitant about survival. So if they don't want to make the full switch yet, I want to give them this guide so they have something to refer to when they're trying to play BM. I hope you guys like it. Leave a comment if you have any questions, or come to my Twitch if you have any questions. I'll be glad to answer them. And I hope you guys have a good day. Thanks for watching. Peace.